This final video in our series of introductory tutorials will show off the various tabs on the system board's full view. Since the controller setup tab was discussed in the previous video, we will not be returning to it here. Okay, I have our tutorial project open, and I have the system board displayed with the full view hidden. As a reminder, we can pull up our full view by toggling on the option near the top of the system board. Okay, from here we can see that we have 5 tabs, offering views to a variety of controls for the system. Reading from left to right, we see the Performer view, the Master Mixer, Project Settings, Metronome, and Controller Setup. We're going to go a little out of order, reviewing the Metronome first, then moving back to the beginning and reviewing the first 3. I'm starting with the Metronome because it's the most straightforward. In the top column, we have the basic controls. A toggle allows us to turn the metronome on and off, and we can set the speed by specifying a number of beats per minute, and we can also specify the number of beats per measure. These can all be changed directly. Below this topmost section, we have a series of lights that will blink in time with different divisions of the beat. The top left light, which is turned on by default, blinks on the first beat of every measure. How often that first beat comes around will be determined by the number of beats per measure that have been set by the user. The second light blinks every 2 beats, and the third light blinks every beat. The bottom column contains a series of lights that blink in divisions of the beat. These lights blink twice per beat, 3 times per beat, and 4 times per beat. The final division can be set by the user to any value that you may need. Currently, the metronome only acts as a visual tool to keep time with. In future updates, the metronome will be able to sync up various effects, making it quite easy to ensure that all of your rhythmic creations occur at the right time to be in step with each other. Next, we'll look at the Performer view. This screen provides quick control over just a few settable volume sliders. From here, we can boost or attenuate the volume of incoming mic signals, or route a few signals out to the 3 send out sliders. There's also a larger master volume slider that syncs up with the slider on the creation column. This view is ideal for work that has been set to run itself via automations or controllers, where the performer really needs quick and easy access to a few primary volume controls to keep track of the mix. Each of the volume sliders, except the master slider, can be set to route from any part of the system, and parameters can be saved and recalled via the presets in the bottom right corner. This view also synchronizes with the system score, allowing a performer to cycle through predefined events for a work. There's even a space to send notes to a performer directly from the score, to inform them about different events and to help them follow along with the current settings. Information on controlling scores and using them in conjunction with the Performer view will be covered in a future tutorial. The Master Mixer allows for more involved signal routing and volume control over your project. We've already covered the fact that setting an output's value to master out will send the signal from the pedal board to the speakers, but we can use master 1 through 16 as well in our projects. All signals sent to these secondary masters will come to the Master Mixer. From here, we can control the volume level for each master channel individually, and we can choose how to route the sound out. Each channel can be sent out stereo, to the left or right speaker, or even out to a surround system. This means that you can control the flow of audio to 3 speakers, 4 speakers, or more, all the way up to 16 individual speakers. Of course, you can send everything onto the master volume by selecting stereo, and use this screen more as a large mixing console, but that's up to you. Finally, we'll look at the Project Settings window. You may have noticed by now that this is the window that pops up when you first launch a new project. From here, we can control certain default parameters for our projects, including which tab is open at start and whether full screen is toggled on or off when the project opens. Notice that as long as the program continues to develop, certain parameters may disappear while others may be added. The goal of this screen is to make your project as useful to you as possible as quickly as possible upon loading your project. Let's look at what functionality each of these options provide. First and foremost, we can name our project. This name is displayed on the score player, and it may find its way into other parts of the system in the future. You can enter a name by simply clicking in the text box, clearing the content that's currently in the box, and typing in your own content, then hitting return or enter. The system settings allows us to control a few of the defaults for how the project opens. You can set the full view to be toggled on or off when the project loads. You can choose which tab it opens to. You can determine whether dry mics will be recorded by default, and whether the output limiter is on by default. You can also set whether the metronome is on, and the tempo of the metronome. In the Scores section, you can choose which scores are loaded when the program opens. The system allows for up to 3 scores to be used in conjunction with the project and with each other. And if you've learned how to use and build scores, you know that it's imperative that these scores be available automatically when a project is loaded. Finally, there's the Load Board section. This determines which boards launch when you open the project. This means that you can have any number of pre-built boards launch automatically when the project is opened. This makes it very easy to return to your work where you left it, or makes it very easy for performers to get into playing a piece that you've built. In order to choose which boards will load upon launch, simply open the drop-down menu and click on the boards you want to add to the list. You can manually type in the names of the boards as well, but make sure that the board names are separated with a /. Using the project settings can be very helpful in setting up a project and continuing it at a later date. It also makes the system very usable for someone who wants to build an electronic part for a performance and hand it off to someone else to use. This window is the final step in creating a self-running program and ties all of the main components of the system together. It's not required to use any part of the system, but when used intentionally, it can streamline your workflow and can make it easy to share your projects with other users. Alright, this video completes the first set of tutorials. We haven't covered all the topics related to using Music STP. Other topics of interest include an introduction to each of the modules, a look at how to run the source code, an introduction to creating and loading scores, and a tutorial on how to build your own modules from scratch using the blank template. All of these topics and more will be covered in future video series. This tutorial should give you all the basic knowledge you need to get started exploring the system. If you have any requests for video topics, or if there are any questions about the explanations given in the tutorials, please leave a comment or send us a message via the contact forms on our website. If you'd like to show off the music or sounds you've created in Music STP, please feel free to share in the comments section of this video. We'll see you in future videos, and until then, I hope you enjoy using this program as much as we've enjoyed making it.